Again and again.
I'm here today again with
You'll get my name right this time.
And Clint Hills isn't here, it's on holidays, but hopefully he'll be back to us after the holidays or even next week. So
He has the right idea, doesn't he? Going to the sunny places when although it's very pleasant outside here now. It's freezing cold, but it's very bright and very pleasant. So do we have to have that whole conversation again? Okay.
So I was saying we know.
So we were talking about pop culture. We usually start off the show with some TV or recommendations or books, and since Ricky is a gamer, I wanted to know if there are any new games out, and that's Ricky came in with. Grand Theft Auto. We're hearing engines outside.
So GTA. So they've come out with a new Grand Theft Auto. If anyone knows how hard the game over the years, they've come out. They're coming out with a brand new one, Grand Theft Auto 6. So and it's been some stories about some stories about Rockstar getting a little bit more greedy with money, having players pay to play on the game on single player, not only on multiplayer but also single player.
You know what? I'm gonna. We don't often do this. We're gonna do some live research.
Now, if this is true, that's a waste, because like why would anyone pay for the game and then have to pay again to actually play the game?
I'm trying to think of other games where you buy the base game and then you pay a kind of subscription for multiplayer or for online play. A lot of the Call of Duty games work that way.
But this isn't even multiplayer. This is a single campaign.
Yeah.
Which I can't understand, because I thought that was the whole idea behind multiplayer. It's to actually pay for
Are we talking about GTA Plus?
No.
Is that the online?
No.
Okay. So GTA Plus is like a subscription service that allows you to play all the Grand Theft Auto games online. I've also heard as well. It's this, so it's not quite clear. So that's not what you're talking about.
No. The base game on single player on the new GTA. There were rumors about Rockstar getting players to pay to actually play the game, even on single player.
Okay, so will I read this thing that I found?
Yes.
For those who don't know, GTA Plus was launched earlier this year to target Grand Theft Auto Online.
Sorry, Jason, you're on mute.
We unmuted ourselves.
Trevor just said to me,
Are we still muted?
You just come up to tell me.
Okay, I think we're sorted now. I hope we're sorted. Let me just check. Sorry, we've had more technical feedback. Let me just check. Can someone give us a thumbs up if you can hear us? Yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay, we're sorted. Oh, this is stressful. Okay. So there we go. So there's a subscription service for playing Grand Theft Auto Online. You pay $6 a month, and you can play some old games. And I think for the new game, you have to have that subscription, or it comes with it. So it's unclear. It's still kind of rumored.
Now I know leaks, and you can't go buy them, but like why it's a little bit odd to actually come up with this rumor.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah, it's
weird.
but what I'm seeing here in the news links is that it's still just a rumor. I did hear another not a rumor. I think this is actually happening. Is that if you have Netflix, they're going to put the first three Grand Theft first three Grand Theft Autos on the Netflix gaming service for free if you're a Netflix subscriber. So that's a more generous sounding rumor, isn't it? Or 3, 4, and 5, something like that.
Yeah, but that makes so sense. You can't play like you can only play games on mobile at the moment. You can't play games through Netflix on console. So wouldn't it be better to actually have the platform of Netflix platform work on console, the gaming side of things?
Yeah. I mean, that's I'd be interested to see what phone could run those games smoothly or enjoyably. But there we go. But games, I mean, this is a thing that I'm seeing in a lot of these news articles that I'm scrolling through, is that basically games are getting too expensive one way or the other.
I'm still peed off by Starfield. I'm sorry, I'm still peed off by them. I mean, the Bethesda, whatever the game company is called.
Yeah,
I'm still peed off over that.
Do you want to explain that to people?
So a game came out a couple of months ago. Was it a couple of months ago?
Yeah.
Starfield was called. Sorry, Starfield was called. So basically it was about and it has a storyline about you going around in a startup looking for mysterious objects and the whole story. But I was really excited for it. I actually wanted to get it when it came out. But then I found out that the accessibility options in the game itself are limited. They are really limited to certain accessible options. So the only accessible features that actually came in the game was high color contrasts.
Okay.
And,
for people with visual
yes,
impairments.
and higher and bigger font size. Those are the only two accessible features within the game. Now they've come out with multiple updates since the launch, with no new accessibility features. So I still don't understand how they can get away with that, really, now this day and age. So I really don't.
And how much would a game like that typically cost?
It cost, I think when I looked at it, it cost $9.99. So nearly €100 on Xbox. So yeah. So imagine if you were disabled and you actually got the game not knowing this, and you could just spend €100 on a game that you can't play, and it's not open to you. So it's dropping, really is. So
yeah.
like I'm really surprised with Xbox as well, because I thought this was the whole thing. And they have a campaign up, so when everyone plays, we all win. So
and their accessible gaming kit is pretty good. We have one in Queen's Cross, and I'm sorry, you're going to hear some gardening going on in the background there. We'll start shouting now, just so you don't have to listen to that. We're such professionals. But yeah, so the accessible gaming kit is pretty good and pretty versatile, but as we've discussed, I think you did your own video on YouTube, so if people want to check out Harmony Conversations on YouTube, Ricky made a video discussing accessibility issues in video games that I reckon was pretty good. And we talked about how accessibility means different things, especially when you're talking about technology. So sometimes it is about the physical thing that you're holding and how accessible that is. Sometimes it's about how the game works and how it responds to that interface.
I think it's a bit of both. I really do think it's a bit of both. But I think it's not only up to the game companies. It's up to the game solves. So Xbox, Sony, it's up to them to. I thought Xbox was only going to put games on their platform and only had a number of accessible features within the games. So the games have to have so much features, accessibility features before they could be published on their Xbox servers. I thought that was the whole idea behind when we all play, we all win. I thought that was the whole idea behind that in the first place. That's what I read up on it.
Yeah.
But it turns out to be not the story.
Yeah, but I suppose it would be very hard to do that universally for all games, would it?
Yeah, no, definitely. Like within the indie games, definitely. I mean, you couldn't monitor every game that game companies come to you with. That's impossible. But with the AAA games, like you could with big upcoming games like Saints Row, Grand Theft Auto, things like that.
Yeah.
AAA games, you definitely could. I mean, Xbox isn't Microsoft isn't a small company.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're pretty large. So they're like Sony, they're pretty large. So it's not like they only have a small team they don't. You know, so they could do the AAA games. They could look in the AAA games instead of looking at every game. I understand they couldn't do every game, that's impossible.
Yeah.
But they could look at the AAA games and see, are they up to standard with Xbox's Xbox's rules and that. And I think it should be law. I honestly think it should be law because we, as a disability, a group with a disability, say that again, as a group with a disability, we have the right to actually play games, to access games and to play games. So why shouldn't this be the case on every platform?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Park agrees with you. The games are too expensive. I'm an old school gamer. I only have a PlayStation 4, and I make a point of buying old games that are cheap. I would never pay full whack for any game.
You know, I wouldn't mind paying full whack for a game if I knew I could actually play it.
Yeah. All right. Well, can we be more specific then? Can you tell us how Starfield works in terms of the gameplay? Can you tell us why that's difficult for you and how they might correct it?
Okay, so a couple of things. One, Starfield, it doesn't have a fixed camera. So I think that's what they call it, a fixed camera.
Yeah.
So that means when you move your character around, you also have to move the right or the left analog stick to look around, and you have to move another analog stick to actually walk around. So you have to move two analog sticks at the same time, which being a one-handed player is difficult for me. That's one.
So let's just think about that for a second then. So that is, so again, people may be more or less familiar with how games work these days, but on the controller you have a stick that is usually used for moving your guy around, and you have another stick that's for moving the camera and changing what you see. And you're saying that doing that is difficult for you.
Yes.
You prefer some one-handed option of doing that,
Yes.
or to. Well, I'm jumping ahead because I think I know what your answer is going to be. But what and for a game like that, that's not an essential part of the gameplay, is it?
No.
It's not.
No,
it's not part of the decisions you make to progress in the game. So they could automate some of that. Is that what you're saying?
Now there's games like Assassin's Creed, and I told you that last week. I think a couple weeks ago. Assassin's Creed, Mirage, that has a fixed camera angle, so when you move your man around, the camera moves with you
to whatever is important in your field of
so
vision.
that you don't have to actually move the camera by yourself. You have the option to do it if you want to, but you don't have to. So that's like I don't understand that can be done. It actually can be done. I think in a lot of I think the same game company came out with a game called Elden Ring, and the game is the camera was like that on Elden Ring is fixed camera. So.
But and this is the thing I find interesting, because Elden Ring is a game I'll never play because I know it's going to be too hard for me. You know what I mean? So some games are just inaccessible anyway because of a person's style of play or a person's preferences in terms of difficulty and things like that. So it's a difficult set of things to negotiate.
The two things Elden Ring had that I loved, but I couldn't play because I couldn't use it, like you said, it was too difficult, is a fixed camera, and it had a lock on feature, which meant if you wanted to lock on to an enemy, you could. So that would make it much easier. Again, all you would have to do then is attack, and you would never do anything else, just attack and defend pretty much. Starfield doesn't have these options. They don't even have a lock-on feature. So you can't actually log on to your target if you want. So.
And yet that's not essential to the gameplay. No. Yeah. And that's the thing I was going to ask you. What is it that you like about games? Oh, there we go. Park says, I only play FIFA because every year the controls are the same.
Yeah.
And and that makes a lot of sense. I've never been able to play FIFA. It's one of my games I'm most rubbish at.
I actually played FIFA. It's a really good game. Like you can set it up to actually play with one hand. So all you would have to do is move and press a single button, and that's it. You do everything. Like it can be set up so easy. So for the people, also complicated for them.
Yeah. And this is the thing. Like when I think about games, or I mean, no two games are alike, and even two, like as Parek's saying about FIFA, no two football games would be the same. FIFA is one way, the other football games are another way. So then it comes down to kind of what you like in a game. So some people like FIFA because it's technically challenging to pull off the actual moves on the controller. Some people like games because of the storytelling, so it's not so much about the interface at all. And some people like, some level of challenge, so for you, what is it? Is it story? Is it the mechanics of the gameplay? Is it the graphics? Is it
it's a bit of both. It's the story and the graphics and the exploration as well. I like the explore games.
So is it the sense of do you like feeling like you're in the game, like you're immersed in the game? Okay, and so your interface really matters then. How easy you can interact with the game. So but then there are games like, I don't know if you've heard of like Heavy Rain or Two Souls they're more like movies where you just have to hit a button every once in a while.
And I did play them.
And
they're good, but they don't have the same emotion that I look for. Like, I like to get involved more in games. So, like, Assassin's Creed, I love assassinating people and taking, sorry.
Virtually, in the context of a game.
Yeah. And there are
fictional game.
There are enemies, so they're not good people. So they're I just like doing it. Like, I think, like, for me, it's a satisfaction because I could start out not being good, but being good enough. Not like it's not too hard and not too difficult.
Yeah.
And then down the road, I get much better at it.
So it makes a certain amount of sense that having options to personalise or individualise your game might be valuable to any player.
Yes.
That might be the thing that makes FIFA more accessible to me. So that's interesting. Valerie.
Sorry.
Oh yeah, I was just going to bring up Valerie. Valerie's made a good point, and she's asked, would it help if controls were voice activated?
Well, some people do, yes, it would. Me, personally, wouldn't. I like to just play with my hand. So that wouldn't help. No.
But for some people it might. It's another dimension of interaction.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. I mean, there used to be old Nintendo DS games that had a little microphone in them, and you would have to shout commands every once in a while. It was very rudimentary, but it was, again, immersive. You felt like you were kind of in the game when you were doing that.
And I don't know why this isn't put into law. I really don't, because when we talk about human rights, isn't it alright to actually play a game we want to play and to actually get immersed in it? It's another basic human right of every human on this planet. So why isn't it put into practice? And this should be the case for the game to have accessible features without any hesitation. I just don't understand it. Maybe don't. Really confusing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But what I'm curious about is whether the tech. I mean, we've seen how expensive games are. So, are there limitations to the technology to do the things that you're asking, or would those things push the prices up even higher?
I don't think so, because you're not changing the game. You're not changing the mechanics of the game. You're just changing how the game is played.
But that you would still have to pay someone to work out how to do that. You'd have to pay someone to code that into the game.
No, but I talk about game companies. They've done proposals and like we've seen it being done. So if we know that it has been done, so I don't understand why every game shouldn't have these options. What other games have? Star Wars Survivor has more an option where you can slow down time for the whole game, so people with limited reflexes will actually get the opportunity to pull up and move whatever they want to do within the game. So again, I don't know why that isn't implemented into every game.
Well, again, this is the thing I'm curious about, because maybe it is because the technology isn't there yet. Maybe it's because there's a cost or a marketing element to it, which is not to defend it. But yeah, that's what I'd be curious about. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see.
If this is the case, then wouldn't it be worth doing it? Because there's more of us out there, and more usually equal more of us than other people.
Yeah.
So that means more people playing your game, more money.
Sure.
So can put into your game company. So wouldn't that be better in the laptop?
Yeah, but then I suppose it's a question of how far you go with that, because this I mean, we know that the basis of assistive technology is that it's individualized, is that like some devices are accessible, some devices can be made more accessible, but the most accessible stuff is stuff that's been individualized to a specific person's profile. So whatever, there's no one size fits all. There's no, so what I'm wondering about is my suggestion is, and maybe this is some enterprising business person, would be something like bespoke, downloadable patches for games, which is like, so Ricky gets his copy of Starfield, he tries it out, finds out that these particular parts of the game don't work well for you, so you contact a programmer and they say, this is what I need, and they design a particular downloadable patch just for you that fixes the game to suit you, and they do that for someone else, they do a different one for someone else, they do that, and that way I like.
I understand, but like the game company can do that already with updates. They can put in new features with updates. So, but so why aren't they doing, like my idea would be they would come up with all the number of accessibility features within games, and then if something isn't accessible, even at that, then you can go up to another third party and say, can you make this up, make it up, and when they do make what you need up, it works with the game very, very well, because they have the features are there within the game to work with whatever you got from the third party. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so, and it occurs to me, and again, I'm not a very experienced gamer, but I know with PC games, there's a thing called modding, where people just reprogram games to do different things. That seems like something that would do what you're talking about, where just someone, well, I've done this mod where where the camera follows you or something like that. Would you be more inclined to play on a PC if you knew you could access stuff like that just from users, from programmers around the world?
I don't like playing on a PC. I like playing on a console. And that's why should I have to play on a PC just so I could actually take part in getting mods? I should have the right to actually choose what platform I want to play on, which at the same time actually giving me the option of playing the game I want to play in the right format I need to play on.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. I suppose I was only making the point that there's a lot of informal modding going on that doesn't require the companies to be doing that with the base game, but I don't know if they do mods specifically for accessibility. That might be interesting to check out.
But I don't know how I feel about mods. Mods are modifying the game, so really there could be a number of issues that will go wrong with it, a number of glitches, because you're modifying a game that's already made up by a game company in a certain way. So it just seems a bit dodgy to me.
But I mean, but I suppose that same risk would exist if you're changing the control scheme at all, that at some point it stops being the game that it is and it becomes a different game.
I wonder could they do it with controllers? Like, does it have to be within the game as well? So when it comes to like fixed camera angles stuff, could they actually do it on hardware instead of actually software?
Interesting.
So,
well, this, I mean, I don't know is the answer, but the other way of thinking about this is there a kind of interface that you could play with one hand that would do both, that would allow you to say move a character and then also move a camera with a different movement of your hand, or would that be too complicated for one
I suppose,
play scheme?
like I said to you before, I suppose if you got a stick, just one stick, when you press it down, and then it will move the camera, and then you let go, and then press it back up, and then you could release it, and then it would actually move. You know, it would walk, your character would walk forward. Again, would that be too complicated and too complex? Because actually, you couldn't do both right away.
Yeah.
You know.
And then you're into things like you're into, like I don't know if you ever played the Nintendo Wii with the remote, the motion controlled stuff, or if you ever used the Kinect on the Xbox that tracked your movement.
I played golf on Wii.
Okay. How did you feel about that kind of thing? The more kind of in the
movement
movement based stuff.
That was much more accessible to me. Because again, it just had basic movements. So it wasn't too complicated or complex. Like the game, the perfect game is really complex to be Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That game is whoa. The buttons that you have to mash.
Yeah. I felt that way about the Batman games. The interface was really simple, but it was still immersive. It wasn't boring.
It was complicated.
Oh, it is complicated.
Valhalla.
Oh, Valhalla, sorry.
Really complicated. Okay. I mean, even to do the simple things, you had to press down about 4 buttons at the same time.
It's like a form of digital puppetry, isn't it? It's like you're trying to make this guy on the screen do all these things. Park makes an interesting point. If you could trial a game before you buy, that would be great. And I remember a time where you could get demos, you know, and sometimes a demo would be enough. All you wanted was to play one level of a thing. See
this again, we're back to Xbox. And this is the thing with Xbox. Xbox was supposed to have a list of accessibility features within the game before you bought it. But not always. They don't always happen. In the game, it could be accessible, but they just didn't bother to actually look into it and put the features up for you. So, I don't know what's going on there, I really don't. But,
Laura, I'm presuming you said you played the Wii or golf on the Wii. She said she has poor eyesight and it was very funny. She played it with her brother-in-law, and you heard all sorts of stories when that came out of people throwing the remotes through their tellies by accident and stuff like that. Or that was again. And then they all started coming with warnings after that with funny pictures in them. But there we go. Okay, so we're coming up to the end time. I don't know if you want to do a Q&A. I don't know if Sean's still there. So we might sign off, but Ricky will still be here to do a Q&A. So if someone is on the other end to record this, I'll step away and Ricky can take over. Oh, Valerie says, you're right, make controls activated would be more money than the game is, but it's all about accessibility at the end of the day. There you go. It's very complicated. I can't get my head around it, but I think you've laid the issues out very well, Ricky. Okay.
I must look into that though. How many people with disabilities are actually facing game companies too? And what they need and what the game doesn't need and what the game doesn't need. I must look into that because like I said, many other game companies don't seem to have so much options within them. So you'd be wondering, do they actually hire people with disabilities to look into these things? And that.
Yeah, and it would seem, that it would be very hard to do it right without the input from people with disabilities, and maybe that's something you could explore. Maybe, that would be a great focus group to be part of, testing video games and making accessibility suggestions. That would be. But there we go. Laura says, he said I was doing it wrong. That was your brother-in-law, is it? Was he taking it a bit too seriously? It's supposed to be a bit of fun. Don't tell Ricky. Sorry. The golf, I mean. But yeah, okay. So I'm not seeing any recording happening on the sense, so we might start wrapping up. Any final thoughts, Ricky? We weren't going to talk about this at all at the start. We had a totally different topic prepared. We had 2 different topics prepared. Okay, there we go. We'll come back to the other stuff some other time. But anyway, yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. It's
and that's what the freedom of speech was.
yeah. Get it in there at the last minute, Ricky. It's a good last word to get. Okay. So thanks for watching, everybody. Like I said, we have some videos on YouTube if you check out Harmony Conversations. And
I think this should go up on YouTube. So good debate, good conversation.
Yeah. I'll edit out the false start. And
I don't want this is good. It makes fun.
It does it? Okay. But there we go. Yeah, we're always doing our best. So yeah, a few weeks to go before the Christmas holidays. So we'll see you next week. And I don't know. Maybe we should do if you're around on the 19th, we might do a Christmas show on the 19th. I don't even know what that would be. But maybe not. We'll have to talk amongst the production team about that. But there we go. Have a great day, everybody, and enjoy the lovely weather. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye.